Episode 42.
Help, Twisted Fiber Art. Hello and welcome to the Pink Hair Girl podcast. My name is Sally Jane and I am joined by my daughter, Rachel. Yes. So, welcome. Thank you for joining us and we hope that you enjoy your time with us on the interwebs. We know there are lots of knitting podcasts out there. I know. So we really appreciate the time that you spend with us. Today is the 1st of July. Yeah, here we are. So we're going to jump straight in because we've got quite a lot of sort of knitting stuff to talk about today. So we're not going to blather too much about all the extras. I don't think we actually got terribly much extra. I'm going to have to pause. You've got something on. Turn your nose like this. What have you got on your nose? You've got something yellow. Can I do like a mom? Can I lick it? What have you got on your nose?
Ow.
Anything you got on your nose?
Is it showing up?
Probably nobody could even see it. Now your mom's picking your nose. Well, you know
No one can see it.
Well, now you just showed them.
You're going to edit it out.
And if I don't?
Then I swaggy.
Right, let's jump straight into the pattern draw for the Winter is Coming shawl knit along. I didn't do a separate finished objects and chatter thread because really when I decided to do the knit along sort of on the spur of the moment actually, and I wanted to knit one for my mother, and I thought that, or maybe a few people, hey, no sniffing in the podcast. I thought a few people might want to knit, to join along and knit the pattern as well. But I was quite surprised actually. I thought we might have like 5 people or 10 people or whatever. In the end, the finished objects was 36 finished shawls.
That's a lot.
That is a lot of a single pattern. For knit along for a single pattern, I thought it was quite a lot. So I closed the thread when I was supposed to on the 20th. Sorry, put my tea down. On the 21st of June, which was the day that the Titus needed some toilet help and I was cold, so I put on my jersey anyway. So where were we? We were talking about the Winter is Coming draw. So we did the season, the show season ended on the 21st of July, and so we used that as the closing date for the show. And like I said, I was really impressed. There were 36 finished entries in that time, which was great. So I've done the 2 prizes for the pattern for $7 and a pattern of my choice. I've done that off screen because that was a random number generator, and because it was in amongst the chatter, so you didn't have to finish your object to be eligible for those prizes. That was just drawn from the actual chatter. I did draw my own name quite a few times.
I counted and drew it about 11 times.
No, I didn't even draw 11 times. Look, there's one. I crossed out that number, so about 4 or 5 times. Little Miss Exaggerator. About 5 times.
11.
And I see, look, there's a chicken outside the window. It's like, ooh, shiny, look. Yeah, so anyway, so I've done those. So the person that wins the pattern of choice for up to $7 is Sue 1E, like Susie with the one in Susie is in Scotland. Yes, so contact me and let me know which pattern on Ravelry you'd like for up to $7. Do you want a tissue? Because you're not sniffing the whole podcast. And then the next person was the person, that was number, no, I don't know. I crossed out the numbers so many times. You're just going to have to trust me, we did generate lots of numbers. And then the next person was the person to win any of my patterns, any of my single patterns of their choice. And that is Daisy Knitter. So Daisy
That's
Knitter.
such a nice name.
It is nice, isn't it? So Daisy Knitter, if you contact me, then I will gift you any of the patterns from my Ravelry store. Right, now the most exciting prize is the yarn prize, which is from Twisted Fiber Arts, and it is a gradient yarn which goes from a very deep black or like a darkish charcoal all the way through to white. It fits in the winter is coming shawl very well, you know, from the grey wool all the way down to the white snow and stuff like that. So anyway, that we have actually made little pieces of paper because I can't do a random number generator because they're all in amongst everything else. We need to sort those out. So we took all the names.
The new project baginator.
And we, so instead of a random number generator, we've got a project bag winner generator. So that all the, can you see in there? I'm being hopeless at this.
Okay.
Let me just take them out. So here are our pile of names. Let me not drop people. We got everybody now.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. So here's our random pile of people, and Rachel is going to shake it up and choose. I'll hold the bag, and then you choose a name. No peeping.
Found one that keeps on clipping into my finger, so I'm going to pick it up.
Okay. What have you got? Ah, Devi 0894, which is Devon, and she also runs a podcast. She's a young podcast, and I think she's quite a relatively new knitter, and she knitted it in a green and a blue. Oh, yeah, very nice. And yes, so Devon, you win that amazing yarn, but there is a bit of a but. I need you all to be the wonderful knitters that you are. And Devon, especially, you're going to have to be patient. I saw on Instagram first and then on Ravelry that the Twisted Fibre Arts company, where they have their business premises, there was a fire in, I think, a restaurant either next to them or somewhere. So basically it wasn't their office that was on fire, but the whole building was damaged, and they have obviously smoke damage and water damage and all sorts of others. So they are busy recuperating the losses from that fire and needing to move to new premises and figure out, you know, what stock they can use and what they can't. There will have been quite a lot of stuff that has been damaged. So please be patient, because I am not sure that she'll be able to ship your prize yarn out straight away. And lots of people are asking how they could help. And they just said basically the biggest way that you can help is actually to order yarn and then be patient. Because it will take, obviously the money helps them to get back on their feet. And then you're just going to have to wait. You're just going to have to give them a little longer than usual to be able to get back to the place where they were able to, you know, be manufacturing everything again. I think they were talking about moving back to a garage at somebody's house or something like that. I'm now going to pause this so Rachel can go blow her nose. Okay, so Rachel's blown her nose and had severe warnings about not sniffing for the rest of the podcast. Severe, yeah. Yeah, so about Twisted Fibre Arts, yeah, a real setback for them. I know they are insured. I haven't heard what's happened recently about that. But if you, and the yarn is absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to show you some of it, because before the tragedy struck, Meg had actually asked me if I wanted to design something specific in their yarn. The winter is coming, although they sell it as a kit. I never designed it specifically in their yarn. They just, it's now a part of it, a kit, and it works very, very well. So she asked me if I wanted to design something specifically in their yarn. And so she sent me some yarn to play around with. I must admit, I am so not intimidated, but I don't want to mess it up. I really want to do it justice. So she sent me the base, which is called Muse, which is also gradient dye. This is just a different base. The one that is for the shawl is a sock yarn base. And so this is Muse, and then she sent me some pink just to swatch with. Don't know how well that's. Oh, camera's seeming quite dark today. There. So there's this lovely pink to sort of swatch and play around with, and then she sent me, my main color is called Blaze on the Muse yarn base, which is the 50% silk, 50% merino.
I would
And
love to
it's the
see
medium
that.
is called Evolution, and that means the gradient dye. It's a fingering weight, 430 meters, 470 yards, and 100
You
grams.
have to do that into a shawl.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be. Now look at that. Can you see that?
Take it closer, that's better. It's much more of a darker pink going into
Yeah,
the
it's kind of like a yellow, and then orange, and then into a sort of a deep pink in the middle. But the yellow is not it's not like a greeny yellow or a sort of a screech yellow at all. It's much more like a kind of a soft sunshine yellow. I mean, it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous.
The yellow I like.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want an example of how amazing the yarn is, so Twisted Fibre Arts.
First, when I saw the label, I thought the boys had spilled on it.
Oh, I think it's quite cool. It looks like the.
No, but I mean, I thought the boys had spilled on it, and then I was about to get it in a panic that they'd ruined your yarn. But then I saw it was just it looks like they.
It looks like it. Hey, it's quite cool. I like the way it's sort of splattered, like the dye is sort of dropped on the label too, which is really cool. So yes, I mean the yarns are absolutely amazing, and I mean they've got one of the best gradient yarns to get a good transition and a slow that it doesn't go too much sort of boom boom boom. Yeah. So hopefully, I don't know how soon you will be seeing this because I'm a little bit intimidated by it still. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it.
You could call it sun. You could call it sunflower.
I really don't know what I'm going to do. So Sally and I were playing around with some ideas, and I'm not sure we might do it in this yarn. So there are some ideas in the pipeline. So please go and support Twisted Fibre Arts. As I mean, anybody know that's been involved in a fire or has had a fire at their business or whatever will just know that often it's the water and smoke damage can be huge, and it's just such an emotional setback as well. So anybody that is in the position to support this fabulous yarn company, please go and do so and be patient. Obviously, your money and your order helps them get back on their feet, but just be patient with them as they try to clear up and get their dyeing process back on track and back on their feet. Yes. So thank you so much, Meg, for not only the yarn prize and for sending me some yarn for playing with, but we're all thinking of you, and we really hope that the business that the insurance pays out fast, that you guys can get back on your feet and back into your production line as soon as possible.
Does the restaurant next door have to pay?
Well, they've got insurance, so it should all be sorted out.
The restaurant next door should have to pay.
Well, I don't know the whole story. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I mean, there were some houses above as well. So, I mean, there were people that had to be evacuated from their houses with their pets and all the rest. So, I mean, imagine I don't know if their house got water damage. It's often the water damage more than anything else if your house isn't the one on fire. Well, if you think they're spraying the whole area, and if they're spraying below, or they just spray the roof cool down so things don't go on fire, the water is what damages. Imagine the whole couches are soaked, the TV, all the electronic equipment is soaked, and your yarn gets all soaked. Well, that's the thing, all their yarn, all their stock.
Can't you buy all their soft oaky yarn and then have smudgy yarn?
I don't know.
They could call it their smudge range.
Yeah. Anyway, so that is the prize for the sorry about crackling. The winter is very crackly bag. It is a very crackly bag, isn't it? That is the prize for the winter is coming. Well done, Devon. And anybody else that feels so inclined, you know, they were very generous in donating prizes to us. Please support them as well. It would, I think, mean a lot to helping them recover from this.
Where are they?
America. Canada. America.
You can say Northern America then.
No, because North America is a country, and
I'm saying like in the northern part of America.
I'm almost certain it's America, but I've been caught out before with things that've been in Canada that I thought were in America. I'm going to go with America, and somebody's going to shout at me and tell me I'm wrong, or tell me I shouldn't have been darting in the first place. Anyway, that's where it is. So that is that. Let me see what else I have to say about that.
Can we move on to finished book next? I have one.
I was going to do Claire's book next.
Okay, do Claire's book, because then we can move on to my socks.
Yes, all about you. The next thing I want to do that's fiber related is I've got a review. I've actually got a review this time and next time. My review this time is of my friend Claire Devine's Sock Anatomy book. Now, those of you that have watched the podcast for a while or that have been following Claire know that she designed a sock anatomy book, well, a book about socks for children. It started off with socks for children, and it was called Sock Anatomy, and there were 9 patterns, and they were all in baby to sort of small children sizes. And then she then set about in making all the socks in up to adult sizes. So there are 9 socks with 9 different heels and toes in 9 sizes. So for those of you that like symmetry, there's all the 9s in there. Yeah.
Dog.
And here is the front cover of the book. It's called Sock Anatomy. I've just got the digital copy at the moment.
I'm knitting a pair for it.
So Rachel has decided that her next socks she is going to knit from the book. So beforehand we were looking a bit through the book and we were deciding, so this is the yarn she's going to use.
I dyed it.
You dyed the orange. Keep it still so it can focus.
Let me turn it to the nicer. This is the nicer. That says the high. Look.
You must hold still so it can focus.
No, the orange is not. This is the light orange is not quite as white.
Anyway, so the book is called Sock Anatomy: Dissecting Heels and Toes.
You think that's so funny?
Which is quite cute, yes. And then they've all got names of
parts of the foot.
Yes, the different parts of the foot.
The one I chose is the one that Mom can't say.
I think it's Planum. Right, so there is the set of. It's not. I don't know how well this is going to come up on here. So anyway, there's all the different socks. So basically, every sock. The book is about teaching you different heel and toe techniques. And some are toe up, some are cuff down. There are different heels, there are different toes. So even if you're familiar with knitting socks, you may not have knitted some of these different types of heels and toes before. So it really is well worth it. There are lace ones, there are cables, there are all sorts of things. So it's well worth the investment in the book. The ebook is £10 so that's £10, and I didn't look what the individual sock prices were. I'm sorry. So I was going to tell you what the saving was, but I can't remember. I'll have to look in a minute. And if you wanted to order the printed version, that was £16, and I would think that that would be well worth it. I am hoping when Claire comes to visit me in January that I'm just going to bring my printed copy along then. So that would be really nice. So Claire Devine's Sock Anatomy, well worth getting if you're new to socks, and even if you're not new to socks. So the first section of the book is for those that are quite new to socks, and it's all about getting started, selecting what kind of yarn to use, something with a high wool content, talking about the need for nylon in your socks. Then she gives you some tips, look for something with a high twist. And then she says, although nylon isn't always required, nylon is helpful. It isn't always required. There are many natural fiber blends with hard wearing properties that will give you great socks. You can read more about these in an interview she did with Sue Black on her website. So I've often wondered if there were other sheep breeds that actually have harder wearing properties. So it'll be interesting to go and think about. And then she also talks about the color and the type of pattern you're doing, whether you're picking a variegated yarn, what pattern, so matching the pattern and the yarn quite closely together. Knitting in the round, what type of needles to use, whether to go for wooden or metal, magic loop, DPNs, the shop construction, whether you start at the top or the bottom or the heels and toes, all that kind of thing. And then she's got quite a lot of really nice pictures in the thing which show you which direction you knit in, where the heel goes, where the toe goes. So like this one, for example, is a heel flap from the top down. And then she's got the picture in there, and then that shows you all the different parts of it's basically like an anatomy drawing. It's really cute. And then cast on here, and then you've got the cuff and the direction of knitting and the gusset and the foot and everything. So That's really nice. And then here would be the heel. That was the heel flap from the. Sorry, it's not down to the bottom of the. Sorry. Technology is great when it's working. So that is the heel flap from the top down. And then you get the heel flap from the toe up. So she gives you the different versions, what a short row heel looks like from the top down, from the toe up or the cuff down, different techniques. There's some little pictures on Kitchener stitch, you know how to do the Kitchener stitch, and the little rhyme on the bottom, front knit off, purl on, back purl off, knit on. No, so it's your, you know, knit off, purl off, knit on little rhyme that you say as you go along. Then there's a whole thing on sizing, how to check what size you're going to knit. And Rachel and I have done that for her, and your foot was 18 centimeters. And so the recommended was for you to do an extra small, so your sock comes out at a 16 centimeters, so that gives you your ease for your foot. So she tells you that how to measure, and then which size to knit, and what the finished object size will be. And then a little bit about each of the designs. So she'll say like the flex, this is an easy and ideal as an introduction to sock. These have an afterthought heel, can be knitted from the top down or toe up, making them perfect for experimenting with different directions. So each one she'll tell you whether it's toe up or cuff down or what. The first pattern is the flexor. So each pattern comes with a picture and then I'm not holding this very straight. Then the name of the pattern and what yarn you would need, and you know, a bit about it. And it's really very nicely laid out, very clear. I'm not going to show you too much of the pattern, but you can see it's laid out in 2 columns, good spacing between it, very clear to read. If you were reading it on a mobile device or on your tablet or something like that, it would be very easy to use. Then the next one is the Tarsi, which is the one with some texture. I've actually used this one for Caleb before. So everyone has got a different heel and a different toe to try out. There are afterthought heels. There's the short row heel from the toe up. There's a short row heel from the cuff down. There's the gusset from the toe up and heel down. So there's all sorts of different kinds of heels. Then this is the one you want to do, which is the plenum, I think, plenum. Just I'm a nurse. I should be able to sell these things.
Didn't they teach you?
I remember like the phalanges and the tarsi and all the metatarsals and all of these kind of things. I don't remember the plane. I don't even know what part of the foot the plenum is. Anyway, fabulous toe-up socks for everyone. The plenum is a perfect choice for all the family. It has a faux heel flap, offers a great fit, especially for those with a high instep. It's got a clever fold over ribbed cuff designed to stay up while looking stylish. Add a feminine finish with a picot edge, or leave the ribbing for a unisex look. So that's the little. I don't know how the light actually really isn't playing along. It's got a little picot edge on the top, and these are the ones you're going to do. Hey, and these are knit toe up, so I need to do cast on the toe for you. So there are all sorts. I mean, like the phalanges, I can say. Phalanges, the little owl in the background there. The phalanges are.
I wanted to do them, but I know I can't. I could not do those.
It's a simple lace. You could probably, but
I think
try and follow the pattern first for the other one, and then we'll do yarn overs and 2 togethers and reading a chart and all the rest. So, so yes, the book has 9 different patterns. Go and have a look at it on Ravelry. You can see all the socks there. Lots of notes about each one. Very nice pictures for each little sock. And I love the way they've modeled them. She's Jess from Ginger Twist Studios helped her with the modeling. You can see Jess's lovely skirts and dresses and things in the pictures. Jess has a great fashion sense. And so that's Claire's book. So well worth the going to go and check that out. She has offered us a giveaway for the group. So I will open a separate thread for that. So then she'll be giving a copy of the a digital copy of the book away and 2 individual patterns of people's choices. So please go along to the Pink Hair Girl Knits group once the podcast is up, and I'll have the thread there which will tell you how to enter. We'll probably do a question something like, I don't know, what's the favorite? I think we'll ask you to which direction you like knitting socks. Are you a toe up or a cuff down? And then to pick your favorite of the collection. Yeah. So I might even be knitting. Oh, you wanted me to knit one of these for you, didn't you?
Yes.
Which did you want, the cable ones? No.
I wanted those.
The longest. But then you want the most complicated ones, don't you?
Yes. The most prettiest one. Why did you put them at the end of the book?
The Osa.
Ooh.
They're swirly swirls of colour, dance and play around the Osa. Rachel really likes these. I wonder if I can hold just put my tea down here. So let's just see if I can enlarge the picture so that you can see that a little bit better. Rachel likes these with the swirly colour going around the foot. So yeah, you never know. Maybe your mother will knit them for you one day. So that is our one day. Yes, that is our review for this week. So go and enter that on the Pink Hair Girl group and stand a chance to win Claire's great book. And for anybody that is a new knitter or even an experienced knitter wanting to add to your sock pattern repertoire and also to just trying out different constructions, different types of heels and toes, I highly recommend this book. As I said, I've knitted 2 pairs of the baby socks and 1 pair of the adult socks. I knitted Titus, I think Titus and Caleb's might have been a similar. I don't even know where they are.
Don't show Caleb's. He's a
grubby. Oh, Caleb's grubby. Yeah.
Caleb's a very grubby. He never washes his socks.
Well, you have to kind of peel off his feet. Caleb loves his socks, and he's only got 2 pairs. The pair I knitted and the pair he knitted himself, so he tends to wear them rather long.
You have to shove normal socks on him.
I don't think he likes normal socks tonight.
No.
And next time I will be reviewing the Painted Woolly Toppers, which is Woolly Wormhead's new book for hand-painted yarns, specifically for using variegated indie-dyed yarns. Sometimes yarns that are hard to find a pattern for because you don't know how it's going to show up or how the color or the whatever is going to work with the pattern. So these are specifically designed to work well with those kind of yarns. So I will do that review next time. Shall we move on to what we've been doing?
Yes.
Right. What have you got, madam? Are we doing finished objects first?
Yes.
Okay, what have you got?
This one.
Okay, so what's that?
Let me just get it so it doesn't fall. There we go. There's the dark side. That's the dark side. Turn it around to the light side. It's green for Granny.
And this is what? A mug cozy for Granny?
A mug cozy for Granny.
There we go. Did you put a button on this one? No, we just closed.
I'm going to put just a
decorative
button in this corner here.
Okay.
And the other finished object I cannot show.
Oh, and why not?
It's for my swap partner.
Yes, Rachel.
Don't have to edit in the picture. It's very, very, very pretty. I love it.
Or next, well, once the parcels are gone and delivered and stuff, then we can. I don't know. Rachel has joined. This will be Rachel's first swap. She's joined the South African swap group and is doing her first swap this time. This time we needed to send a project bag and yarn, and then you could send other little extras if you wanted to. So this will be Rachel's first swap. So that's quite exciting. So we'll have to edit in the things we can't show you.
I love the button. I think the button goes with it the best.
Okay. So that was what I spotted earlier. Caleb then made me a little mug cozy.
You need to turn it so they can see the button.
Oh, there's the button.
He wanted to make one.
So he made me a pink and grey one, which I think is really cute. Right. So that was your
Yes.
finished objects.
I helped Caleb put his together.
That was very kind of you. Right. What have I finished?
I need to tell them the funny story about how I wrecked my first one.
Which first one?
Remember, I tried to sew it together and then I wrecked it.
I don't know what you did.
I pulled out half of it.
Then you started unpicking it, and we ended up pulling out the whole thing and having to start again. Huh?
My entire mug crazy.
It's a bit of a disaster. My finished object is my
Sockies.
June socks.
They are so soft.
These are the ones with the cashmere in. Hey, heart lamb, and now of course I'm going to have forgotten what it was. Hey. Tulbach, Heartland Tulbach sock base, which has got the merino cashmere nylon. In the Youth Day colorway on my Strawberry Lane Craft sock blockers.
Did they grow strawberries along Strawberry Lane?
No, it's just Vicky's name of her Etsy shop. Rounded toes, 64 stitches, fish lips, kiss heel, twisted rib, which everybody must be sick of now because that's what I do every time. And that is June.
You need to do a fishy lips.
I did do a fish lips.
A fishy kissy.
I did do a fish lips kiss heel.
But you need to do another one.
On what?
On another sock.
I've done the one like the last 4 or 5 pairs of socks.
I like them.
I might need to do a different heel.
Do the gusset that's on the Hermione Everyday socks.
That's quite a nice one too. Yeah, the Eye of Partridge. I did that on something recently. I did do the Eye of Partridge recently.
On your green one. On your
St. Patrick's Day socks.
Yes.
It could have been. So these ones were supposed to have been cuffed down, and I forgot. So they are tore up because they were supposed to be for opposites knit along. The Yonder Woman and I are having an opposites knit along, which is basically because we're both in the southern hemisphere, so we're often our seasons are opposite. My sister was sending me pictures today of how they are having heat wave.
Heat wave.
It was 27 in England.
That's an average summer day, a cool summer day.
Yes, but today it's supposed to be hotter. I think they're getting up into the 30s today. So everybody in England will melt.
That's easy to.
I think they said it was 27 today by 9 o'clock.
They must try the 47.
The 40 something we did, yeah.
So 47.
That was quite hot. Anyway, but it gets humid in London. So that humid and hot is not always so nice. So they're having a heat wave. So we're often opposite here in South Africa. Our season is often completely different to everyone else. So we were doing the opposites knit along. So I was supposed to be knitting cuff down socks because I normally knit toe up. And the Yonder Woman, Melinda, was going to knit toe up socks because she normally knits cuff down. And she did do hers. She cast hers on the right way. I was just a plonker and forgot. So my next socks I do, I'll have to cast on the right way. So come and join our opposites, Carl. You can join any craft actually. How did Sally describe it really well when I was floundering for how to show any Ravelry accepted craft? So I think that's weaving. So weaving, spinning, crochet, knitting, loom knit, all of those yarny related type of things. Yes. So coming into the opposite knit along, just convince us somehow that your entry is opposite to something. So either you're using a pattern from somebody on the opposite side of the world to you, you're using a yarn from somewhere opposite to you, you are knitting in a color opposite to what you normally knit, you're knitting a construction opposite to what you normally knit, so you're knitting cuff down if you normally do toe up, whatever.
What is when does it close?
End of July. So you had June, and it's now the end till the end of July.
I'm going to have to knit my little heart out.
Oh, are you wanting to enter yours into Melinda's? Oh my goodness.
Knitting my little heart out.
Oh dear. Right. Melinda said that she could enter hers into the Yonder Woman knit along, although she's not allowed to enter mine. So maybe you should choose something a little easier.
No, I can.
Socks in a month. It took you 2 months last time.
This time I will knit them.
Okay, well we'll see.
Oh, what could I do then?
I don't know. We'll have to think of something.
Not a shawl, not a hat.
We're going to do a hat in an opposite colour to what you
What's
want
it?
to do.
Dark, boring colours.
Dark brown or something, I don't know.
What about that very dark, dull colour you got from Carly? With the very dull blue.
Dull blue.
The dull blue, like it was very dark, not as quite as bright as I like. Because I don't think anyone on the podcast has ever seen me wear brown, black, and grey.
Probably not. Anyway, we can think about that. I mean, you can try and knit your socks. I think she's also doing a chatter prize, so you might be able to enter for chattering. We'll have to go check her check her thread. I will put some pictures in of the prizes that we're going to have. This episode, I'm not going to have a prize yet, a picture of the prize from Sally of the Wool Diaries podcast. Her shop is called Yarn Bling. Is it .co.za? I think so. And she sells project bags and notions pouches, and she's making us a special South African inspired project bag with I think she's doing like a patchwork shwe.
Like that one.
Yeah, like that patchwork one, but with I think we mustn't commit her to doing something. So then she's gonna be shouting at the camera saying, "No, that's not the truth." I think she said she was gonna do a patchwork. So this is the sort of patchwork bag, and the shwe is a specific type of printed fabric that you get here in South Africa, which is a specific fabric to South Africa or to the Southern Africa. I don't think it's just in South Africa actually. So that's the one prize from Yarn Bling. There is a yarn prize from Gina, who Sally always calls her yarn pimp, who is runs naturalyarn.co.za, and her own she started dyeing yarn under her own label, which is Stella Fiberworks, and there is some yarn from her, so I'll put a picture in of that. Yes.
When I first heard Sally saying yarn pimp, I thought it was a yarn pimple.
A yarn pimple? No, it's not a yarn pimple.
And then I figured it out that it was actually not a pimple.
No. There is a yarn prize from Yarn Stash PMB, which is Peter Maritzburg, from Wendy. Thank you very much. So I'll put a picture in of that as well. There was the bag. Oh, there's buttons from Incomparable Buttons, and then some other bits and bobs from South Africa as I figure out what they're going to be as we go along. So yes, celebrating South African or the Southern Hemisphere. Yes. Please enter your entries. If you've got, if your entry counts for more than two, say for example you've used a pattern from someone on the opposite side of the world and a color opposite to what you've normally do, you get 2 entries. But I'm going to use the random number generator on that one. So please do 2 separate entries.
I can do that because Claire is on the opposite side of the world.
I don't know if that counts. Claire's South Africa.
But she's on the opposite side of the world. Counts.
Do you think so?
Yeah, her Ravelry thinks so. If she's in Scotland. So
it does still say she's in Scotland. She's actually in England at the moment, but...
Well, that's fine. That's still on the opposite side of the world, so...
You must check. I don't know if the Yonder Woman's got the same, where you can enter for different things. Read the different competition rules on her thread and mine. I think they're pretty similar, but there are sometimes some differences. So you can enter into both of ours, the same... projects into the same knit along on the 2 different groups and be eligible for the prizes on each one, except for Rachel, who could only be eligible for the prize on the Yonder Woman one.
That's not fair. I want Sally's bag.
Just read the rules on both of those. So that was about the opposites knit along. Why was I saying that? Oh, because I was supposed to knit my socks that way around and I forgot. So
now we need whips.
So, well, I was quickly going to talk about the July socks, the July yarn. Or should I do that afterwards?
Has Sally got it?
No, by the time it's supposed to arrive today, so by the time I've edited this up and it goes up in a day or 2, she will have got hers.
Okay.
So today is the 1st of July.
So you can pass it on.
I could. I was responsible for doing the no, you can't have it. I was
Already.
responsible for doing the yarn and the bag for Sally and I this month. My bag is landed up very big. Sally's isn't quite as big as this. I don't know how mine landed up quite so enormous.
I'm going to steal it because my blanket will fit in there. Look.
It's not exactly like a
we need to make me a bag that's huge.
I know, but like normally a sock yarn bag, for making socks is down here somewhere. Anyway, so first of all, I should actually show you the yarn because I dyed the yarn.
Oh, so pretty, so pretty, so pretty.
This is the L Sock Wool 80
this one.
superwash, yeah, and 20% nylon, and then I just played around with some sort of dip
You need
dye.
to unravel it so they can see. Is it going to go in straps? Or?
No, because it's not. I haven't dyed it self-striping. I've dyed it.
But what's it gonna do? So it's gonna go
a bit
a section of blue and a section of light.
A bit like this, where it'll change through the colours quite quickly.
But it'll be like a two strap. It's
just from a sort of a deeper blue.
Can you make those socks for me?
Through to a light blue. No, the idea.
You can do them for opposites because you will make it opposite because you never knit socks for me.
No, because my year of socks with Sally was socks for us. Anyway, so once I dyed it, was it you that said it looked like Frozen?
Yes.
So Rachel said to me it looks like the Frozen movie theme. Looks like it comes
Elsa's
from
dress.
the movie Frozen. So I kind of played around with that idea a little bit. And I mean, as those of you that watch Sally Wool Diaries podcast will know that she's not a very girly kind of person. No. She likes sports, she likes skulls, she likes fast cars and all of these sorts of things. For those of you that are new to the podcast, my friend Wool Diaries and I are knitting socks. We've got a kind of a little sock club between the two of us. So 1 month I organized the sock yarn and the bag, and 1 month she organizes. And we've had a theme. Every month has had a theme. So January was New Year, and February was Valentine's, and March was St. Patrick's Day, and April was Easter.
Easter is you wearing Easter.
Am I? Oh yes, there's Easter. And May was
autumn.
Autumn, that's right, the autumn surprise. That was really nice. June was the youth day that Sally did, and July was back to me, which was winter. So I did these sort of wintry.
What do you have? Are you organizing spring?
Yes.
Then you have to organize it with yellow.
No, I've done it already. So
you
you
had to say a yellow because spring is my season. I own spring.
Oh, do you? Right, I'll let them know. So I dyed this blue yarn, and Rachel said it looked like Frozen. So I decided to totally embrace the Frozen theme.
Mom went a bit overboard.
I did go a little bit overboard. And so I tie-dyed these bags just sort of with a lightish blue in the background.
Everywhere.
I couldn't find fabric dye. I know exactly where to buy it in Pretoria, but I've never needed to dye anything in Cape Town before. And we eventually found it at Dis-Chem. Dis-Chem where we found it.
Dis-Chem at Bayside.
Yeah.
We got half the other presents there.
And anyway, so I made little snowflakes in the sort of colours from Frozen. And I organised with my friend Sheldine to
make
crochet each of us an Olaf. So we each got
his hands backwards. You need to put his hand right there. Now he's waving.
Okay. So I got us each a little Olaf.
Sally's one waves a bit more. Your one looks like he's scratching his chin.
Well, maybe he's deep in thought. Mine's a thinker. So I got us each a little Olaf, and then in hers I included some tattoos, some kitty tattoos, some Frozen kitty tattoos.
And I chose the one with the moose.
Yes, with the moose and all
the
the
moose is the.
And I made little labels with glitter, snowflakes on them. And her project bag is a slightly more normal size than mine.
Your one is.
And I got her some chocolate.
This one's a jersey sack.
It is basically.
You should knit You should put Car and Sylvie in there.
I should put the Sylvie in there. It might actually fit. Anyway, I'll put this in here just
And
for
she
now.
got coconut chocolate.
And I got coconut chocolates because it was in a light blue box. It also
I
looked
was
like
going to steal that.
those Lindt balls with the coconut ones.
I was about to steal that, and then you packaged it up.
And a soap. Oh, something from the Lush shop, which was blue and white swirly bubble bath thingy.
I don't know if she'll ever want to smell it like that. It smells
quite
a bit
nice.
sweet.
Do you think so? I didn't think so. Anyway, so that was the July yarn. So Sally is getting an ultra over the top cute.
She has to do an ultra over the top cute for you then.
No, she can do whatever she likes. It was a little bit out of character, but it was
Why
fun.
don't
It was
you
quite fun.
She can do an ultra over the top car thing.
Well, she's got I think we've got Halloween for
She can send.
for November. So
She can
or
send
for
you some
October.
tea.
No, we don't have Halloween, I don't think. Because October, so what have we got now? We're on July. August is Women's Month. Nothing. September is spring. October may well be Halloween, actually. And then it is
November.
summer. December's
Have you
Christmas.
got?
I've got summer, yeah.
You have to do summer in like. You have to organize like bright colors, like
I asked Gina, so we'll see what
some
Gina
bright.
comes. I've asked Gina to do from Stella Fireworks to do.
Are we going to do finished
summer
objects now?
Yes.
Whips.
That is our sock club that Sally and I do. So we're gonna have. I wanted to knit 15 pairs of socks in 2015 as well.
How many have you done?
Well, I'm gonna have done 12 by the time I'm finished. The year of socks. It'll be those 12. And I knitted a pair of socks for Claire, which is 13. And I knitted a pair of socks for Papa's birthday, which is 14. So I want to knit Papa one more pair of socks, and that'll be my 15th year.
And your socks you're going to knit in your orange.
Oh, that's true. In my
Your
orange,
white sandy beach socks.
white sandy beach socks, which I also need to redo. I need to cast
Repeat.
those on and start again.
I looked at it and I thought those are socks for Papa. I was
I
trying
better hurry up because I've then got her knits along for Pearl of the Pacific ends at the end of July as well, and
knit, mommy.
I
Knit.
need to finish those socks
Cast on and start knitting.
and my July socks now. So
Knit.
yeah, what have I been knitting on? I was very good. Remember I said I was supposed to finish the front of the Sylvie. Well, I sort of did.
I sort of did
It
mine.
doesn't look like I sort of did, but I did because well, I finished one side of the front. I have knitted as far as I think I should knit before doing the armhole decreases. But because I am knitting in a much thinner yarn than the pattern, the actual pattern, which I don't seem to have in the bag, goes down to the lady's knees as she's knitting it.
I
But
don't
I'm
think
using
anyone
the
wants-
same chart for the back, and the back has got the. Where is it now? Is it over there somewhere? Why don't you look at the patterns over there? The back has got a cable chart. So I'm knitting the same chart. I'm not lengthening the charts or changing the chart on the back. So I needed to start the back to see kind of where the chart ended and then match that with the front before I did the armhole decreases. So I actually did need to go onto the back and stop the front. So I got as far as I could on the front. But of course now it's slow going because I'm knitting a cable from a chart. So these are kind of stems that go up here and then they branch off into leaves. Not there?
Not that.
No, okay. I'm not sure where it is. But I have showed you the pattern before. It's a long coat called Sylvie, and it is
People can go look it up on Ravelry.
yeah, and I'll put some links in. It's supposed to be a bulky weight coat. I'm knitting mine in Stylecraft, which is an Aran with wool. So it is an acrylic, but it has a wool content to it, and actually feels very nice when you knit it. And I think it will be a bit. It'll be warm and it'll be durable. South Africa isn't really cold enough, I think, to have a bulky full wool
No.
coat. I think it'll be a
You'd boil
bit.
today.
Yeah. So I've started that.
Our winter only goes down to about 9
Yeah, on a cold day.
on a cold
Yeah.
Today's about 12:13.
Yeah. My phone said 14.
Everyone's going to say your winter's summer.
15
Ooh,
today. And
that's
sunny.
good.
It's bright blue sunshine
Bright,
sky
sunny.
outside.
It looks like it could be an early spring day.
The evenings get a little bit cooler.
At night it's a bit chilly.
My one complaint about this pattern, and of course I realized it too late. I really should have noticed it earlier. And you notice it even in the pictures, is that the button band is knitted on at the same time. And of course your tension between a button band in stocking stitch, because you knit 3 stitches in knit, and then you knit 2 stitches in purl, then you knit 1 more knit, and then you go into your moss stitch, seed stitch, is that it's a completely different tension. And I'm hoping it will block out better, but I don't know if you can see there. Hold this like this, Lovey. Can you hold that there? No, the top.
I can't reach.
And hold it.
Wait, let me kneel on the couch. That might work.
You see, what happens is, hold it upstream to the bottom, that this point, the tension along this side is completely different, because the band, I really should have knitted the button, picked up and knitted the button band afterwards. And I didn't think as I was knitting. I just cast on and started doing it. And when it got to about here, I started noticing the tension issue, obviously. But even in the picture of the model wearing the coat, the front dips down.
That doesn't.
I don't like it.
It's Karen chose the pattern, so she won't.
No, I know she won't mind and she'll never moan, but I just think it is a bad design feature to have something with such a different tension. Button bands are normally picked up and knitted afterwards. They're a pain to be knitted afterwards, especially when you're doing 2 different stitches. I mean, maybe it's supposed to be a design feature and the bottoms are supposed to sort of, scoop down like that. Not my favorite. As I said, the 2 fronts are in moss stitch. So I've stopped that and put it on a waist yarn where I think I would need to do, I measured it on the geek, and this would come to, if I started the arm now, would come to just below the bum, not all the way down to the knees. So I will finish the back pattern and see how far that goes up, and then match the 2, and then do the arm decrease. So you're busy looking at your Instagram, who's liking your picture. So start with the cable.
Sally commented a very funny thing.
She commented a funny thing.
I did. Well, it makes me laugh. I put a picture of my blanket because I got tagged for what I'm doing, so I put my blanket. And she said, "Did you hide your mom's blanket?"
Oh.
And that's the best idea ever. I'm going to, so I can tell them about my...
You can tell them about that, yes.
Me and Sally and Mommy, we pulled Mommy into it, and Mommy was not
No.
very happy.
Start off how this all started. You wanted to challenge Sally to do a knitting
competition. So it started on Friday, and we decided who can add the most squares into their blanket was a good one. And then...
Slow down and pronounce clearly.
And then we pulled Mommy in.
So basically what they decided between the 2 of them is they were going to have a competition to do a week-long who could knit the most squares on their blanket. So Rachel actually only has to has to edge her squares onto her blanket because Granny has already crocheted her a whole pile of squares.
And I've made a
And she's made some as well. So she's actually only just joining squares onto her blanket. And Sally and I are knitting ours on our...
Okay.
And our soft yarn blanket.
How many I join is how many I have to make.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so the 2 of them start this on Instagram. They have this whole big thing, who's joining in, blah, blah, blah. And then by the end of the weekend, so it was Friday, by Monday morning, you know how many the 2 of them had done?
How many?
A big fat 0. You and Sally had done none at all. I, on the other hand, I was super diligent. It was actually quite fun to get back into my blanket.
We pulled you back in because all of us had a break.
And I did.
I know exactly where you were. You did this row and...
I haven't done the ends yet, but the week's not finished. Apparently I have to have sewn in all the ends.
I've almost overtaken it.
So I have done this whole row here.
That's
And I
6.
just need to do one more, and then
You've
I
done
will have
11.
done 12. So these ones here,
And
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
this is
11.
moved on to whips. Okay, I'll show mine. Here's mine.
So that's what I've done.
And I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, and then I have a square called the Yarn Woman Square. And everyone will guess why. It's got a black taggy mark and it's red, so I call it the Yarn Woman Square.
Is that your Yarn Woman Square?
If you look, I'm about to join another one on, then there, and then if I get to the end of the row while we're podcasting, I'll have overtaken.
But you're only just joining. It doesn't even take that long. Anyway, so from last week Friday
You got a
until
head start.
no, I didn't. I just started when we said we were going to start. I didn't get a head start. I just started on time.
And that makes up for me just having to join.
Anyway.
You get to stay up later at night though, so you knit while watching TV.
Maybe. You don't have to do as much housework as me. Maybe I should make you do all the housework than you.
I cleaned the entire house yesterday.
You did. You were very helpful. So my Sylvie is what I've been knitting on mostly before they started this sock blanket craziness. There is a hashtag on Ravelry. I think it's called Sock Blanket Week Madness, Sock Week Madness.
We must have these a lot.
I can't remember what it's called. So I've knitted that.
Sally's on her 4th.
On her 4th square.
Yeah.
And I knitted this mostly on the Sylvie. And then when I went out and I didn't want to take big things with me, I knitted on another
loggy cabin.
I
Casting off loose is difficult.
I knitted on the
Mummy, I'm going to start a log cabin.
Oh, you're going to start a log cabin.
Yes.
How many have I done?
After
1,
the challenge.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've got one more colour, 8, and then this one's done.
You've got 2 rows left on that, so you can. I counted this one.
So that's what I've been working on. So yeah, I'm just really trying to get the Sylvie done. But I'm
You know
worried
what
I'm going
Sally said, Mama?
What?
That one of these bands counts as a square.
Oh really?
So you could end. So where were you on Friday? You had
Because on the red.
You had just started the red. So you have 1, 2. So you have.
So can I count more now?
You have 13. When you finish this, you'll have 13 squares. Even more catching up.
I don't know if I'm going to have to knit socks now between knitting the Sylvie. I really wanted to get it finished because I've got so much. I've got so many other sweaters that I wanted to start knitting.
Finish the Sylvie. Finish it.
I know I must. Hey, I've still got another front and a sleeve and a back and.
Karen will want to wear it at least for one piece of winter.
I know. And then I cast on a lapsang hat as well. But I've only done the bottom.
I haven't seen it. Oh, that one.
Yeah.
What's a lapsang?
A pattern from Claire.
Oh,
from her tea collection.
That pretty one. That little pretty one.
But I'm worried that I didn't count right last night. I actually stopped at one point. I've got an extra stitch at the end of the round, so I need to go see what I've done
I
wrong.
knitted Titus, and that was my second piece of knitting was in that yarn.
That's it. I can't even remember what it's called. It's a commercial yarn, and it's got mohair in it, and it's got.
You took it out of my stash box.
Well, it was always mine to start with. Oh, what else was in here? I do have the tag somewhere. It is a commercial yarn though. And I'm knitting a lapsang hat out of it.
I was crocheting a cowl out of that, but then when I put it around my neck, it felt very itchy. So I linked it.
Oh dear. And I think that's it. That's everything we've got. What have you got?
You've got more, I'm sure. Well, I can't.
I'm mostly knitting on my Sylvie. You told me I had to try and finish the front, so I got as far as I could on the front and started the back. You were supposed to finish spinning your pinky purple.
I didn't finish it, but that's because I had to knit my 2 magulmas.
Okay, and you're drawing your blanket or whatever. So what are your goals for next time?
Goals for next time: to have won the challenge. If I win, then
Then what?
Then
I don't think there were prizes. Wasn't it just for fun?
yeah, but if I win, I get the thing of being champion. So I have to. So my challenge is to have at least 20 squares joined into my blanket
By Friday.
by next week. No, at least 30 squares by next podcast, and at least
I think you're being over ambitious if you say
No.
30, but anyway.
I'm not.
All right, we'll see.
So this one's going to go next. Then this blue one. Oh, Granny made this one and I love it. It's such a pretty turquoise. This
You
one,
like turquoise, don't
this
you?
one was
What are your favourite colours? Turquoise and yellow?
like a turquoise and not quite a baby light blue, but a lightish blue.
Cornflower blue.
Yes. Cornflower blue, turquoise and yellow. I wear a lot of blue.
You do, actually. You wear more blue than you wear yellow, but you like things in yellow.
I wear more blue, but I don't think I've really worn that much blue in the podcast in winter. My winter stock of blue is not quite as much as my summer.
You've got the
stock of blue.
blue jersey Granny made. You
Yes.
haven't worn that in the podcast yet.
No.
Okay.
There's a picture on Instagram.
There is, isn't there? So we've talked about our July yarn. We've talked about the South African swap
There's
group.
something missing. Yes.
You wanted to talk about books.
Yes, books. This is from the Bakery Bears podcast.
Oh, lots of people talk about books in their
Yes.
podcast. Not
I
just Bakery
was
Bears.
inspired by the Bakery Bears.
Okay.
So I want to do a book section.
Okay. So what are you reading?
I'm reading Harry Potter.
Which one?
Number 2. Do you want me to just go fetch it off my bed?
Well, you can talk about it without needing to have it. Or
I
do you need to have it?
I need to have it. What's it about your book?
I haven't done much reading. It's been terrible, actually. I've mostly been watching Grey's Anatomy. I'm now almost caught up. I am halfway through season 11. I have seen spoilers online about what happens at the end of season 11, unfortunately, so I know what's coming. I've read a couple of chapters of the Yarn Harlot book that Susie gave me for my birthday, but besides that, I'm embarrassed that I have really not done much reading at all. What have you got?
Here it is.
So what's number 2 called? I can't remember.
The Chambers and
The Chamber of Secrets. Okay. And how far are you?
Halfway.
Halfway.
I love these little things you gave me, the little Miss Sunshine ones.
Oh, the
Halfway.
bookmark. It's a metallic, not metallic, magnet bookmarkers that clip, they clip over your page like that.
This one's
And
the
then
white one. Then
Just
I've
the
got a
little
very
sunshine.
pretty one that's got like little rainbows and it says today is a happy sunshine day. And then there's little Miss Sunshine wondering about something.
Now have you lost your place?
No, I was on the end of a chapter, so I'll find it quickly.
Okay.
There. Where he is it in the first one or the second one he breaks his arm and it goes all jiggly wobbly?
I thought it was the first time he learned to ride the broom. And then he landed up. I can't remember.
I thought
I read these really,
no,
really long.
Lockhart tried to fix his arm. I think it's here where they crashed in. I'm not sure. I thought that was in number 1. I'm not sure. I'll have to.
You just read it. Or you're not there yet.
Because I've watched both the films, but I want to get book.
Confused with what you watch.
Yes, I want to get book 1 finished.
You finished book 1.
I mean book 2. So I can move on to book 3 because I haven't watched the movie of book 3, and Papa won't let me watch the movie of 3. So
Until you've read it.
until I've read it.
So each one you can watch it once you've read it.
Yes.
The movies get a bit darker, and so I think Papa's hoping that it'll take you.
Dark. Papa said number 3 was a bit dark.
I think he's hoping it'll take you a bit longer to read it. No, you'll
Not
be
at the
older
piece
by
I'm
then.
going. I started I started over here the other day. And I just read it this much. I stopped Harry Potter read. I'm pronouncing everything well. I had started and then I had got a bit bored of reading Harry Potter, so then I read 4. other books in between.
Okay.
And then I got a bit bored of those books.
So now you've gone back to your
So
Harry
I've gone
Potter.
back to my Harry Potter. And it's only been a week and I've read this much.
Okay. So you
Harry
want
Potter, you have to be quite concentrated to read it though. Otherwise you fall asleep. You fall asleep because you have to be quite concentrated. Otherwise,
can't be concentrate. You have to concentrate.
you have to concentrate because otherwise you miss half the story and have to backtrack.
I remember who's doing what and the different characters. Some books are like that where you have to. Sally and I were discussing our sock club for next year.
Roman Myrtle is so.
Did you hear me? Sally and I were discussing our sock club for next year. What theme we were going to do. Well, I was looking through my stash, and I actually have enough yarn to do one of those paper bag things where you put, take a yarn and a pattern, and you print out the pattern, and you put the pattern and the yarn in a brown paper bag, and then you label the bags, you don't label them with any yarn. You jumble them up, and then when you come, you pick out a bag. So it's a surprise as to what you're going to knit that month. So we have enough, I have enough socks yarn to do that with. So that was our one thought. But then we really enjoyed doing our club. So we were talking about doing a book based on books or pop culture or something like that. And then so for that month you would organize a yarn themed round book.
Okay.
Which might be quite nice. I mean, there could be
Harry Potter
yarn. You could have.
No, can I help?
I mean, I was busy reading the top 100 book list, and there are some great books there that you could do themed yarn from. Catch-22, Captain Corelli's Mandolin, Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights. You know, all of these little. I didn't have Little House on the Prairie.
You could do Little House on the Prairie.
You certainly could.
Anne of Green Gables.
There was Anne of Green Gables on there as well. Let's have a look. Lord of the Rings, Pride and Prejudice, To Kill a Mockingbird, Little Women, all the Harry Potters, the Hobbits.
The Harry Potter. Can I
Watership Down, you know, with the badges and so on. I mean, there's so many great topics. So then we thought, well, maybe what we should do is we should do 6 months where we do the yarn bags and 6 months where we do the books. So she would organize 3 themed 2 books, and I would organize 3.
But this time you're not allowed to say it has to be for yourself because Harry Potter you have to make for me.
No, of course it's
for us. You have to make Harry Potter.
It's our sock. Well, then come and join in.
Join in. That's not going to work.
Then you'd have to knit it as well. No, they would have to divide the 6 months left by 3. Then we'd only get 2 each.
2 each? No.
Anyway.
6 months. Yeah, 2 socks each. I don't know
if you're quite old enough to pull off organising and paying for all the yarn and the bags and stuff. What I thought would be quite nice is if we did it every 6 months. I mean, we normally just do a bag and a yarn. And I know I went a bit over the board with this frozen one. It included all sorts of other things, more like a big swap parcel. But if we did if we did the book one next year, we only did it every 6 months, and you only had 3 for the year, then you could maybe do a bit of a bigger parcel, you know, sort of a book themed parcel, and you could make like little wands, and you could make
for Harry Potter you could do like
little spells and there are all sorts of cool Harry Potter crafty things. A Little Woman, and you could do something. I don't know.
You know that there's a shawl that someone actually did.
There are patterns actually. There are.
Someone actually did, and it has on Ravelry. If you search Harry Potter, it has his face from the movie.
Yes, I've seen it. It's like shadow knitting. Yes, I've seen that. That Harry Potter.
It looks lifelike.
It is. It's amazing, isn't it? The Harry Potter shadow knitting face. Yeah.
And you know what I discovered in the back room earlier today when I went through to try and find some needles?
What?
I discovered the rhino gloves.
I know, the rhino gloves. I'm really struggling with designing the rhino in colour work. I'm not very good at colour work. And so while the idea is great, I'm not sure I'm the best person to execute it. I can knit it. Although I'm very slow at it, I'm not getting the rhino shape right, and I need to ask somebody for some help.
You do. You're
Because
doing
my
so-
rhino looks a bit.
I looked and it looked okay.
He
So
looks
you're
a
going
bit
to do
strange.
a paw and a rhino on the one, and then what on the other?
A dog.
A dog and a paw.
But yeah, that's sort of a whole.
You have to make
moment.
those for me though.
Why is everything for you? Learn to
Because
make yourself.
Rhinos and dogs are my favorite animals.
Okay. I mean, they are a smaller size. They probably would fit you anyway. Okay, we need to wrap up. We're babbling about all sorts of nonsense.
How long have we been
I
rambling?
have no idea because it goes in bits and pieces.
We've
I
been
remember to cut and
rambling
start.
for...
So, thank you for watching, everybody, and we will see you next week. Hopefully, I'll have some sock progress to show you. I need to fly through some socks. I need to find. Oh, sorry. I need to find the Sylvie
We could have just used these.
pattern. Does anyone else find they get like harder skin, like
Ah.
calluses on the back of their fingers here from where they pull the yarn, break the yarn?
I never break my arm with my
Don't
fingers.
you?
It's probably because let's feel like
There.
good.
Can you feel like there's a little
That
lump
is a
there?
little hard lamp.
Yeah, where I break the yarn against the side of my
Don't do
fingers
that.
there.
You're gonna get huge.
Calluses, knitting injuries.
You're gonna get 2 little bumps like this. Use scissors.
I don't always have scissors near me. It's quicker.
There were scissors right next to you.
No, I didn't see. Okay, goodbye. See you
Bye.
next time. Bye. What do you want to say, sweetie?
What?
Hmm?
Say hello. Hello.
What have
My
you
name
been
is
doing?
Titus.
Did you build any Lego?
Did you build Sally's time machine? Down. Yep. That was a station.
You built a station.
Yeah.
And you built Sally, didn't you? Do you want to bring it to show everyone?
Yep. I don't bring all of those stuff.
Okay.
Come on, show her. Pepper, say hello. Say hello.
Is this your Lego section?
Here's your Sally.
Oh, you made Sally, yes. There's your Sally you made.
Titus, your time machine's falling apart.
And what else did you make, Lovey? What else did you make? And what's this one here?
My remote.
A remote. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A face remote.
Okay. And what's this one?
The plane.
A plane.
Here's the man who was driving it.
Does he go on this plane?
No.
How does he go?
This sticks on the back
Uh-huh.
like that, and then he sits on the green bit.
Okay. Let's see.
This is his rocket. Here's your rocket. Show them your rocket. It's a very good rocket.
So is this your plane with your man?
I'll get the wrong foot. The rocket on its blaster off a piece.
Okay.
The rocket ends here on this red piece.
Okay.
You need to show it sideways.
Is this the rocket?
Ooh, don't take his feet off. This
Is that the rocket? What's this?
that's the blaster offer.
The blaster offer.
Yeah, that's the part where he needs to remove. Then at 60 minutes when it's there, it's a launcher.
Oh, I see. Should look in the mirrors. Look in the podcast. You can tell them all about your launcher.
Launcher.
Did you enjoy making that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you do it while you were in the podcast? No. We did it while Mom was calling.
Oh, okay. All right. Well done, my boy. Right. Say bye-bye.
Bye.